Join me as I take on the challenge of mastering the French defense in chess and see if you can crush your opponents with this sneaky opening. Did you know that the French defense is one of the most effective ways to catch your opponents off guard in chess? In this video, you will learn how to master the French defense, a sneaky opening that can lead you to victory against unsuspecting opponents. Many players struggle with how to defend against aggressive openings, and the French defense provides a solid approach to counter these attacks. I will explore the key moves of the French defense, the underlying strategies, and why this opening can be a game changer in your games. And one of the advantages of the French defense is that it can be used to counter a number of different openings, including the king's pawn opening and the queen's pawn opening. This means that you can use the French defense to counter a wide range of attacks, making it a very useful opening to know. And watch the video till to end. And if you like the video, please subscribe the channel, share it with your friends and family members. In this way, you are motivating me to make lots of good videos in the future. Hello my dear friends, hope you all be fine and doing well. Thank you so much for joining in your channel. I'm so happy that I'm serving you with another video. So without wasting the time, let's dive into the game. So it doesn't matter that your opponent is starting the game by pushing the pawn into e4 or d4. In both cases, you can play the most aggressive opening, and that is called French defense. So my dear friends, let's get started. Your opponent is starting the game by pushing the pawn into e4. And here, you just push the pawn into e6. In this position, almost 90% of the players, they are pushing the pawn into d4. And the reason behind this move is to have control in the centers. And one of the main strategy of French defense is that you are giving the control of center to your opponent, and at the end, you are going to attack to the center. So my dear friends, in this position, you are pushing the pawn into d5. And you are telling to your opponent that I am going to play the French defense against you. So see my dear friends, when you push the pawn into d5, in this position, there are lots of options that your opponents can play. So maybe your opponent is capturing your pawn. The second option might be pushing the pawn, and the other move might be taking the knight. So therefore, in these four variations, you can play the French defense perfectly. If you are making a mistake, then there is no guarantee. Otherwise, in the opening of the game, you will get your priority and advantages. Your opponent will not have anything to say. And here, let me explore all the lines for you. So first of all, I'm starting from the main lines that your opponent's doing. Majority of the players in this position, instead of capturing the pawn, they are pushing the pawn into e5. Now, your opponent, by pushing the pawn into e5, has control in your territory. So it is not a big issue. So you have this brilliant move, and that is pushing the pawn into c5. Now you are giving this warning to your opponent. If you want to capture my pawn, so your pawn would be isolated. So this is the main idea behind this opening. So what happens? In this position, if your opponents capture the pawn, it is not a good move for your opponent, because you are capturing this pawn by your bishop, and at the end, for example, if your opponents take his knight, so you will have the very good game. And also attacking to the pawn, you took out your bishop, it would be a very good position for black. Capturing the pawn is not a good idea for your opponent. So instead of capturing the pawn, maybe your opponent is pushing the pawn into c3 and making his pawn structure more powerful. You are giving this opportunity to your opponent to do such a thing because you have ideas and plans how to trap your opponent and how to pressure on him. So in this position, you are not capturing the pawn by your pawn. Instead of that, you are activating your knight and bringing too much pressure on this pawn. So your opponent is taking his knight into f3 and he is defending from his pawn. But again, you are taking your queen into b6. As I said that the main idea is to bringing pressure to this pawn. In this position, my dear friends, while you are playing the French defense, you should be very careful. If your opponent is expert player, so he know how to trap you and how to bring pressure on you. For example, if your opponent bring his bishop into d3, and here, if you know the lines, you can play your best game. If you are making a mistake, then your opponent can easily trap you. For example, in here, by 3-4, you can capture the pawn. But from other hand, your opponent has only 2-4. Definitely, you are able to capture the pawn. But if you don't know the moves, there is a hidden trap on that. For example, if you capture the pawn, your opponent is capturing. Again, you are capturing by your knight. So now, your opponent is capturing. If you capture by your queen, in this way, you are losing your queen. Your opponent is giving this fantastic check and attacking to your queen. So therefore, you should be very careful how to play against different moves of your opponent. Sometimes, maybe you are facing with these positions. You should know how to handle the positions. Coming back to the main lines. So my dear friends, in this position, it is not a good move for your opponent. And also be careful, your opponent cannot activate his bishop to defend from his weak pawn in the center because you have this fantastic move, and that is capturing the pawn, attacking to the rook, and also activating your queen perfectly. So this will give a very good chance to black to play its best game. So in this position, what is the best move for your opponent? Any move. If your opponents play, you can take your advantages. But the best line in here for your opponent is taking his bishop into e2. And the next move, your opponent is going to castle. In the beginning, I told you, you are giving the center to your opponent, and after that, you are bringing too much pressure in this center pawn. So my dear friends, a simple question. Can you find out how you can bring more pressure to this center pawn? Definitely. You have knight maneuver. You can take your knight here and here to attack to your target. Or from other hand, you also bring your knight and bringing too much pressure in the center pawn. In both position, you can play. You can take your knight into h6. Maybe majority of the players, they are not aware of this move. They are directly capturing your pawn. And their move is fair because they are going to double your pawns in here. But it would give you a good chance because now you are taking your rook in the open file and attack to the opponent's castle. So it would be very difficult for your opponent to decide to go castle or not. If your opponent's castle, so he will face with lots of problems. Otherwise, he is searching for another way to go right side castle. Up to that time, you are bringing too much pressure. Maybe in the middle of the game, your opponent surrender himself to you. If you are not interested to do such a maneuver, so you can take your knight into e7. In this way, you can bring pressure in the center. But there is a very small thing. you should know about this move. And here, your opponent now has this option to capture your pawn and attacking to your queen. Here you have this option to capture the pawn by your queen, but you are happy to capture this pawn by your bishop. But by taking your knight, it is not possible. So in this position, what is the best move if you face? So the best move is taking your queen into c7. Now also you are attacking to the pawn by 2 force. Definitely you will have a very fantastic game. If your opponent take his bishop into f4, now you are taking your knight into g6 and attacking to your opponent's bishop, and by 3 force you are attacking to the center pawn. And also this pawn is under pressure. Definitely you can capture your pawn and you can change the game for your favor. Your opponent is just defending, but you are playing as a plan. So this is a good thing about French defense, that if you use it perfectly, it will surprise you while you are playing online. You will see the difference in your ratings. So my dear friends, coming back to this line, for example, if you take your knight into e7, and here your opponent has this option to go castle, and here you have this base move and taking your knight into f5 and attacking to this pawn as your plan. If your opponents in this position, be careful, your opponents cannot defend by his bishop because you are attacking to the pawn and this is free for you. So this is the worst and blunder move for your opponent. So your opponent is never taking his bishop. If he takes his bishop, so he is giving the winning congratulations to you. Or you have this option. First you capture the pawn by your pawn. If your opponent captures, again you can attack to this pawn. So in different ways you can play against your opponent. So thank you so much my dear friends for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed from watching this video. This video is not completed yet. In the next videos I am making a playlist regarding of the French defense. So it is not possible to explain all the lines and variations in only one video. So I am making a playlist and I am uploading all the variations, especially the main variations that I explained in the beginning of the video. So by watching these videos, definitely you will enhance your chess skill and you can play the fantastic game, as French defense is one of the most well-known openings in chess. From beginners levels up to grandmasters level, they are playing this opening. Through the setup of these openings, you understood how this opening is fantastic. So please play this opening with your friends and enjoy from your game. So thank you so much. See you in the next video, in the next episode of French defense.